Hey there, friends, and welcome to episode 230 of Just the Zoo of Us. This week I'm joined by a special guest here to bring some well-deserved PR to the most bizarre and fascinating and incredible animal you've never heard of. This episode, much like the animal itself, is full of surprises like nose bones, echolocation, an unexpected defense mechanism, butt nipples, and a scourge of mongooses. Just the Zoo of Us presents Solenodons with Owen Klessel. Everybody, it's Ellen Weatherford. I'm here with your favorite animal review podcast, Just the Zoo of Us. I'm so excited this week to be bringing a brand new friend to talk about a brand new animal. I have to admit, I am a clean slate on this animal. I don't know much about it. I'm excited to go for a journey. This is Owen Klessel. Say hi, Owen.
Hello, everybody. I'm Owen.
And Owen, what are your pronouns real quick?
He and him.
Thank you so much. I'm really excited to get into our animal because, like I said, any opportunity to learn about an animal that I've barely ever heard of. I think probably a lot of people listening also have either never heard of them in their life or maybe don't know very much about them. Very excited for that. Before we get into our cool animal, Owen, I'd like to get to know you a little bit. Could you let our friends listening know what got you into not just this animal, but all animals? What got you into the world of wildlife?
Well, I've been a fan of animals since I was really little. I used to binge Jaga with my sister all the time. And my parents took me to the zoo a lot as a kid. But I had a lot of health issues when I was younger, so I would just have to stay inside a lot, and I decided to read a lot of animal books. So that's how I got here.
I think that a lot of people come from a background of not necessarily being able to get out in nature, whether they're not able to leave very much or whether they just live in an area that's not very accessible to parks. Or I think that for a lot of people, a love of nature and wildlife comes from having to learn about them through media, right? Through books or through, I definitely was an Animal Planet kid, also did not spend a lot of time out in nature myself as a kid, but had to learn about it through TV shows. So did you have favorites?
Oh yeah, I have a million favorites. When I was little, it was elephants. Then during my edgy teenage years, it was pangolins because I wanted to be different.
Okay, can I show you real quick? I have to show you my little guy because I've shown my hand on how I'm a huge pangolin fan. Love them to death. Love everything to do with them. Look at this little guy I bought recently.
Oh my god, that's incredible. That's adorable. I had that exact pangolin when I was younger. I gave it to my friend for her birthday.
People listening can't see. I'm showing a little toy pangolin, a very, very good, very high quality little toy pangolin that I found at a store recently. So just saying, I get maybe it's an edgy teenage thing, but pangolins, you can't go wrong.
They do slap, I agree.
It's a banger, just no skips. What about these days? What's your favorite these days?
Oh, these days, Florida the Panthers are my favorite. You can't look, but I will describe it to you. I have a panther on my water bottle. And there's a panther puppet named Cypress who's right there.
As a Florida girl, definitely that's an icon. We don't see them ever, but they're there and they're in our hearts. So you definitely can't go wrong with that. I did want to ask you, you're a younger person. You have a road ahead of you. I wanted to ask you, what is your idea of your future with animals?
Well, I love teaching kids about animals. That's my absolute favorite thing to do. I volunteer at the zoo and I'll just be hey, look at this jaguar. And they'll be oh my gosh, look at that jaguar. And so, yeah, I would love to teach kids about animals, preferably with puppets, since I'm a puppeteer.
That is your whole deal. Could you tell us a little bit about the work you do on YouTube?
Oh, yes. So I run the YouTube channel called The Land of Puppeteria. That's Puppet ARIA. And it's sort of all about wildlife conservation and animals. And we teach about fun news or zoos through funny puppets and skits. And I voice and puppeteer a good amount of them.
I definitely get the feeling with your videos that it feels like just an expression of joy, right? Like it just feels like such a contagious like enthusiasm and love for wildlife. So, because that's the way you get people interested, right? Like just unabashed enthusiasm and joy that I think can get anyone excited about animals, which I'm really excited to share some hype for the animal we're talking about today, the Solenodon. Am I saying it right? Is Solenodon right?
It is right, yes.
Thank goodness, because I honestly could not have told you. If you had asked me maybe like a couple weeks ago before I did any sort of cursory Googling what a Solenodon was, I would have told you it was a dinosaur. Like I would have guessed dinosaur because the name Solenodon is really giving dinosaur.
Yes. And there's more on that, but they do have a few connections with dinosaurs, but I'll save that mystery for later.
Oh boy, that's exciting. You got my inner dinosaur kid chomping at the bit.
Yes. Everyone I'm friends with was either a horse girl or a dinosaur boy as a child. I like to think I was both.
I was a dinosaur girl, but for people who are listening who are like me, like what on earth is a Solenodon? I say I'm glad we're bringing hype to it because this thing gets no hype whatsoever. Never hear about them. For people listening who have no idea what we're talking about, what's a Solenodon?
So, a Solenodon, and I just want to preface it saying, today I am the spokesperson for Solenodons. If y'all are not naming your firstborn child Solenodon by the end of this podcast, then I have failed.
You could go with like Selena Dawn, like Dawn, Selena Dawn. There you go. That's your baby name right there.
Perfect. Just send them to the Caribbean to graduate. They'll get a free scholarship. Because Solenodons are one of the two only endemic land mammals that still live in the Caribbean.
For people who are not familiar with some of these words, endemic, tell us what this means.
It's found there, but no one else. Like, say you got a grandfather that shops at Costco a lot. He's endemic to Costco. You see him there, you don't see him anywhere else. That's what Solenodons have.
I'm also endemic to Costco, although I have established populations in Trader Joe's.
Yes, and some invasive ones at Wendy's as well.
And perhaps invasive to Safeway. So, did you say rodent?
It's not a rodent, it's a member of the order Eulipotifla, so it's the insectivore order. So a lot of shrews, a lot of hedgehogs and moles and tenrics, and moon rats, which I think have the best name of any animal in my opinion. Nothing beats moon rat name-wise.
Moon rat just feels like such a good either band or like a singer name, like Moon Rat. That's so evocative and poetic. So you said they're part of this insectivore order, which we've kind of touched on these a little bit, and it's actually a great follow-up to last week's episode on the hyrax, which Afrotheria, not related to rodents, but is definitely giving rodent, like it's rodent adjacent. It has like rodent energy. For a Solenodon, is that sort of the body plan you're seeing? It's kind of giving rodent?
Yes. They get about 8 inches long, but half of that is tail. And they sort of look like brownish, tannish shrews. And I thought of an anecdote for the while of like the best way I could describe them. And I think I nailed it on the head. So if you were a rat and you saw, say, a Solenodon, you would experience the uncanny valley effect.
Like, you'd be like, I don't think that's right.
Yeah, it's like close to a rat, but like something's just off.
I had to pull up some pictures because it's been a while. They weren't fresh on the brain because you really don't see these things very often, like in our media or anything. And it does have the long, pointy nose that you would kind of expect to see in something like a rat, but also the eyes are so tiny.
Yes, it has tiny beady eyes.
So tiny. You know what it kind of reminds me of? An opossum.
Oh, yes. They do walk like opossums. They have that little possum waddle.
Oh, that's very good. I'm also thinking a little bit about when we've talked about the hyrax, but we've also talked about things like hedgehogs and moles and things that look like rodents, but they're not genetically related to rodents, but they end up with the same similar body plan. And this is just my favorite thing in the world, convergent evolution.
Yes, I love like sharks and dolphins. Peak. Peak right there.
The meme of all of the dudes from Lord of the Rings with their swords down around the table.
Yes. Hyrax, rat, Solenodon, weird thing that likes bugs. There's 2 species of Solenodon. There's the Hispaniolan Solenodon, which I will be talking about, and there's also the Cuban Solenodon. But Hispaniolas are cooler in my opinion.
Now, that's a hot take, I'm afraid.
How dare you?
If there are any Cuban Solenodons listening, I'm so sorry.
Yes, but Hispaniolans, they're bigger, they're fluffier, they have a funky nose. Cubans, They were rediscovered, so good on you, but, step up your game. Discover technology or something.
Now they were rediscovered, as in, like, got discovered and then were undiscovered?
Yes. I don't actually know the story behind it, but I do know that they are a member of the big edge conservation list of, like, these are the most important mammals that we don't know much about but need conserving. I think it's one of the numbers in the top 10.
Little guy with pointy nose. You can't go wrong. You give a little guy a pointy nose, and that's just chef's kiss.
Perfection.
So if this is anyone's first time listening to this particular podcast, our whole deal, what we do is rate animals out of 10. First category we rate animals on is effectiveness. Physical adaptations, things built into the animal's body that let it do a good job of the things it's trying to do. What do you give solenodons out of 10 for effectiveness?
10 out of Dolphin Noises SpongeBob 10, my friend. These guys earned it. They worked hard. They put in the hours. They paid off their loans. They live in an apartment. They've earned a 10 out of 10.
They pulled themselves up by their little tiny bootstraps.
Yes.
I mean, this is clearly a tried and true, like, body type, right? Like, you can't go wrong. You give a little guy a pointy nose, they're going to take off. They're going to do good.
So the nose, I'm glad you mentioned that because they have a nose that's different than any other nose that I know of in the animal kingdom.
Really?
Yes. So I'm going to do an exercise with everyone at home. Everyone, unless you are driving a car, performing heart surgery, maybe in a tense thumb war match, stick one of your arms out straight. Do it. Come on. Don't worry about the people at Starbucks staring at you.
I'm doing it.
And now, using your shoulder, just move your arm around. Any way you want. Could be left, could be right, up, down, A, B, select, start, any way like that. Cool. You done that? That is how a solenodon nose works. They have something called an os proboscis, which is a little bone between the nose and the head that lets their nose move on a ball and socket joint.
What?
Yes.
That is unlike anything I've ever... There's an actual, like, bone in there?
Yes, there's like a tiny little ball bone. It just lets the snout go beep, up, and down.
That's why these pictures look so silly. Because some of the pictures, I mean, it looks like a little ski ramp. Like, it looks like if you rolled a ball down their forehead, it would just fly into the air.
I'm just imagining, like, a lot of tiny ants on, like, using their heads as a ski slope.
A nose that sort of specialized, because that is a pretty unique setup to even have, like, bones in there that are made to be so flexible. What is that for? Like, why do they have that?
Well, these guys are insectivores. They love to eat all sorts of different arthropods, and they have these really big claws. So they'll often dig in the dirt or dig into rotting logs, and they'll see these arthropods, and they'll be like, oh, I want to eat that. But how can I eat that? I know, I'll maneuver my nose around to stick in that tiny crack to pick out the arthropods.
Like a pipe cleaner, almost.
Yeah.
The pictures are good, you guys. Like, I'm looking at the pictures, and the pictures are great.
They look CGI, though. The first time I saw a picture, I thought it was CGI.
It's the eyes. It's got to be the eyes.
It's definitely the eyes. It's like Scrat from Ice Age. It's not quite there, but it looks somewhat there.
You mentioned that they, they're sniffing around in the dirt and in looks like the leaf litter, a bunch of them are crawling around in, and that they see the little arthropods they're looking for. Now, it doesn't look like they'd be putting a lot of points into the seeing department.
No, they can't see that well, but you know what they do have? They have a snout, good hearing, chirps, and a can-do attitude, because they use echolocation.
Whoa, hold on, echolocation?
Yes, they use echolocation. They use it, like, with the little chirps, like dolphins and bat use, to get a sense of their surroundings, and, like, find, okay, maybe there's going to be some bugs there. Let me sniff around there. Oh, there are some bugs there. Let me put my hand there and eat the bugs.
That is really interesting, because I don't feel like I've heard of any other animals other than, like, cetaceans like whales and dolphins and bats. I feel like I haven't heard of any other animals regularly using echolocation.
I know. I can't think of any off the top of my head. Maybe other insectivores are, but that's just me theorizing because same order. But yeah, super cool.
That is very cool. Now, for a little guy, a problem that little guys often run into is that, yes, they may be very good at finding their prey, but they also are on the menu for a lot of things. So I guess for a solenodon, do they have any sort of tools in their kit that are helping them not become food themselves?
Yes, they do, and it's the most impressive thing about solenodons.
I'm already impressed, so I don't know how much higher I can get.
So the word solenodon comes from two Greek words, solons, meaning channel, and odontis, meaning tooth. So a solenodon is a channel tooth. Why do they have these channel tooths? Are they watching television on them? No.
I was wondering if maybe they've got like little cable wires running through their teeth and I mean, like, you've heard of people picking up like radio stations on their fillings in their teeth or something like that. I don't know. Anything's possible.
Just perpetually plays Ratatouille.
That would be great.
These solenodons use these channel teeth. The channels go through the teeth, are attached to these little glands at the bottom of their jaw. And so when they bite down on their prey, or maybe a predator if they feel threatened, they use these channels to inject venom into them.
So venom wasn't what I thought you were going to say. I don't know what I thought you were going to say, but venom wasn't one of them. Because when you look at a little guy, I know it's not a rodent, but you look at a little critter like this, you think, oh, like mouse, squirrel, sure, maybe it could bite me, but like that's probably the worst that's going to happen. I wouldn't have thought to worry about venom.
Nobody expects the venom.
No. Is it something that people would have to actually worry about? Like, is it like a strong venom?
I found some stuff on its potency, but only in reference to mice. So take for that what you will.
Oh, sure. We've talked about this with like what is it called? The LD50? Is that what it's called? We talked about this before when we talked about the potency of different venoms and poisons and toxins, where a lot of times they're sort of measured in how much it takes to kill 50% of like a sample size. And it's usually measured with mice. So like they'll take like, I don't know, 100 mice and they'll see how much of this toxin it takes to kill like 50 mice. Was that the sort of thing?
It was similar, but the things I found, they weren't measured in like milligrams per gram of body mass. It was more measured in time. So I found 2 studies on it, and they gave 2 completely different answers.
Uh-oh.
One said it was anywhere from 2 to 6 minutes. Another said 5 hours. So there's a large range of possibilities.
I wonder if that has anything to do with how, like, I know a lot of animals that are venomous, like I think snakes and probably some spiders, can sometimes do a dry bite where they can bite but like hold back the venom a little bit. Like, I wonder if maybe you're going to get some variation because they might be using different amounts of venom in each bite. I don't know. I'm just thinking out loud.
No, it's a likely possibility. I mean, I know if I had venom, I wouldn't put it in everything I bit. That seems wasteful.
Right? Yeah, because you're going to have to be like remaking that. You don't want to and so like also you have to eat things. So like you don't want to be envenomating everything you're eating.
Yeah, and if scientists are just having you like bite 50 mice a day, it's like, I'm not giving my venom to all of these mice. Okay, you and you get venom.
I guess, does this seem, because you mentioned that they eat little buggies and little arthropods and stuff like that. I guess this implies to me that the venom would just be for self-defense, right? Because they wouldn't need it to take down like large prey.
Well, I thought that for a while, but then there was this study that I read called...
Don't do this to me.
Yes. But wait, there's more. There's this 2019 study called Solenodon Genome Reveals Convergent Evolution of Eulipotiflin mammals, and it does touch upon this. They suggest that since this venom acts slowly, this was the one that had the 5 hours thing. Since this venom acts slowly, it's more implied that it would be used to slow down prey and take it down. Because if it was quickly, like for a dart frog, that would be an immediate response to a predator, like attacking it. But if it was slow, they can wait a little around, wait for the blood pressure to lower the prey, let it fall asleep, and then eat it.
Oh, like a Komodo dragon, or like
exactly.
One of these bigger creatures that might like bite you and then be like, I don't need to chase you. I'll find you later. But then they end up eating just these little critters that you wouldn't really need to envenomate anyway. I guess maybe it's just like a holdout.
Wasted potential.
Or just a leftover trait, right? Like it doesn't hurt you to make some venom.
Well, there were ancient solenodons that got 3 feet long, so maybe that was from them.
So I think we're the ones missing out, because we could have had giant 3-foot-long solenodons running around. Pour one out. Sure wish I had seen one.
It's essentially a real-life Nidoran. It's a poison ground type.
Oh my gosh, that's so true. Because as a lifelong Pokemon fan, Nidoran has been one of those... I made this whole like series of TikToks about like Pokemon that are, inspired by or based on real life animals. And so many people asked me to talk about Nidoran. And I was like, I don't know what to tell you guys from Nidoran. I have no idea what this is supposed to be. It was right under my nose the whole time. It was Solenodon all along.
Yes, right under the Osproboscis.
So that's one mystery solved. And so many people talk about, oh yeah, we need to bring back woolly mammoths, bring back, whatever extinct animal. No, bring back the 3-foot-long Solenodon.
Yeah, I'm just saying, bringing back 3-foot venomous rodent-like animals, a lot safer than bringing back 30-foot murder chickens.
We could put them in a little, get them a little guinea pig cage. Let them run around. Let them live their happy little life. Although this seems like a type of animal that we're doing jokes. I wouldn't advise keeping one of these as a pet. That seems ill-advised.
No, they do awful in captivity. There's only one place I found that has this Hispaniolan Solenodons in captivity right now, and it's at the Cuban National Zoological Park. Which was a little strange because there's also a Cuban Solenodon. It's like, hey, why don't you just locally source one? But hey, they're keeping one, so good on them.
I would imagine that probably it's easier for that because a lot of animals don't do well when you remove them from the environment that they're made for. So, I would imagine they might be kind of sensitive to being in any sort of environment other than where they were made to live.
Yeah.
It would be worth it for a trip.
True, but is it worth the bite?
Now, you know what? If that's how I go, that's how I go. If that's it, I accept it.
Here lies Ellen, bit by a venomous rat.
They would probably be offended if you called them a rat. They'd probably be like, excuse me, not even close. Hey there, we're going to take a quick break to hear from a couple of our friends on the Maximum Fun Network. When we get back, we are rating ingenuity and aesthetics for Solenodons, so stay with us.
Max Fun Drive 2024.
Max Fun Drive? What about it?
It'll be the best time for someone to support the podcasts they love.
Oh yeah, Drive exclusive gifts, special events, and of course all the amazing bonus content.
Yeah.
So, what's on your mind? Check.
Well, it starts March 18th, and it's only 2 weeks long.
And? Check.
Well, what if they miss it?
Well, they should follow Max Fun on social media or sign up for the newsletter at MaximumFun.org/newsletter so they don't miss it. Otherwise, checkmate.
It's hard to explain what happens on Jordan Jesse Go.
So I had my kids do it.
Saying swear words.
Saying swear words.
Yeah, bad jokes.
Bad jokes?
Bad jokes. Maybe it's you tell people that you're going to interview them, and then you just stay there really quiet and try and creep them out.
It's just really boring.
Because of Jordan, right? Not me.
Because of both of you.
Oh.
Subscribe to Jordan Jesse Go.
A comedy show for grown-ups.
This kind of brings us to the next category that we rate animals on for this podcast. This is ingenuity, behavioral adaptations, things the animal actually does with their body to maybe help them solve problems, navigate their world, things like that. Owen, what do you give Solenodons out of 10 for ingenuity?
As much as I absolutely adore Solenodons, I'm giving them just an 8 out of 10.
You had me so worried there. I thought you were going to be absolutely roasting them. And you were like, I'm down to an 8.
No, I am down to an 8 because they are so seclusive. They're nocturnal animals and they're so rare that they don't hang around scientists that often. So not much is known about their behavior in the wild. So Solenodons, if you're listening, go out in the world, meet people, explore, use tools that basically grants you a 10 out of 10 on this show. Discover tool use.
Listen, they have the fingers for it. I bet they could figure it out. And as purely sort of selfish it is for humans to be you should be around humans more so we can know more about you. From the animal side of things, staying away from humans I think is usually a pretty good idea.
Yeah, there's a reason why they're one of the last remaining mammals of the Caribbean.
I guess now that you say that, I can't think of very many other mammals that live there.
Yeah, the only 3 land mammals that are endemic to the Caribbean, there's the 2 Solenodons and then the hutia, which reminds me of a guinea pig mixed with a beaver.
I'm Googling it. Hold on. Let me see. I definitely didn't spell it wrong. Well, yeah, they're kind of cute. They do look like a muskrat almost.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, they're so cute. So the Solenodons and the hutia kind of as the sole survivors of the mammals out in the Caribbean. Is this just that there weren't that many to begin with? Is this a conservation issue? What's going on out there?
No, there was a good amount to start off with. They had their own species of monkey and sloth, I'm pretty sure. But remember, when the Europeans came to America, where was one of the first places they settled? The Caribbean.
That was kind of ground zero for the whole thing. It was all downhill from there.
Yeah. The Solenodon was just like waving the red flag to the Caribbean monk seals, like, save yourselves.
Please don't. It's not good out here. And if we learned anything from the dodo episode, once European settlers made it to these islands that had, wildlife that they weren't unfamiliar with, a lot of times it's not even like humans causing direct harm, but like a lot of times it's environmental, right? Like the land can get converted to agriculture and Europeans can bring their own animals that become invasive. Like you kind of get this like ecological collapse that not a lot of animals can make it through.
Yes, it's quite sad. But Solenodons are survivors. The reason why I say Solenodons are survivors is because the European colonization was not the hardest thing they survived through. They've been around for over 70 million years, since dinosaurs were around.
I was about to say, like, for a lot of people, I think when you get into like really, really big numbers of years, all the millions blend together. It can be difficult to know what 70 million years means. So for a little bit of perspective, the asteroid that took out the non-avian dinosaurs, that was like 66 million years ago. So they were already kicking it before that.
Yeah, they survived the fall of the dinosaurs. They survived the rise and fall of the mammoth, the rise and fall of MySpace, and they're still here today.
And after the sort of collapse of the non-avian dinosaurs, you see a lot of mammals like get a lot bigger and a lot more like diverse. You see a lot of mammals branching out. Solenodons are like, don't need it. We already nailed it. We're good.
Yep. Just chilling here. You guys be as big as you want. I'm just going to eat bugs.
Eat bug. It's tried and true. That's all you need in life. Just eat bug and you'll be fine.
I'm just imagining that's a poster on, like, if a Solenodon went to college, that would be a poster on their wall.
That would not be a very motivational poster in college because you'd be like, why am I studying for this exam? All I need to do is go eat bugs.
Well, maybe they're studying like culinary. Maybe they want to be chefs.
Now that brings us back to Ratatouille. You could have a little Solenodon in someone's hat that's maybe ratatouilleing them to cook some bugs.
And like, it's fun. It's like Russian roulette ratatouille because one of the dishes contained venom.
A very high stakes culinary experience. I think we're brainstorming a sequel perhaps to Ratatouille. Solenodon-atouille.
Yes. Another super interesting thing about Solenodons is that they're surprisingly social animals. Despite being so secluded from like people, up to 8 of them will live in the same like complex burrow.
So they've got a group chat we're just not invited to. Like they've got their own thing going on. We're just not privy to it.
Yeah, like they say they're all busy for the weekend and then you walk over to Wawa and they're just all hanging out with each other and it's super awkward.
Oh, devastating.
That's what happens.
The worst.
It's the worst feeling.
You start to see all of them post on Instagram that they're all at the same party and you're like, well, now I didn't get a text.
You're calling them like, hey guys, just leaving you a message. I think you forgot to invite me. I'll just wait here until you call.
Solenodons are leaving us on red. But that's interesting that they're social. So they're like cool with each other, not being super territorial towards each other.
Well, the social is normally comprised of a male and a female and their offspring. And the offspring stay with them for quite a long time because these guys have been known to get up to 11 years of age.
Oh, so they're rocking for... That's really long for like... Usually you see these smaller animals usually only have a couple of years in them. 11 is a long time.
Yeah, it's like case-selected.
Okay, for people listening unfamiliar with the term, explain case-selected.
So case-selected is you have small amounts of offspring, like people, we have 1 to 2 offspring, because we expect 1 to 2 people to survive to adulthood. So it's little offspring, but like greater chance of survival. But then animals like rats or bugs or sea turtles, they have a lot of offspring because they don't expect them all to survive. So there's a lower chance of survival, but the theory is that, hey, if I have 100 babies, one of them won't get eaten by a giant eagle, and that's the one they're counting on.
It's a law of large numbers sort of thing. Like, I'm sure at least some of you will not get eaten, and that's what we're banking on. But also, like, there's a sort of trade-off in, I guess, energetic investment in the offspring too, right? Where you're like, yeah, I'm going to have 100 babies, but I'm not going to raise 100 babies. They got to figure it out.
Some of you may die, but that's a risk I'm willing to take.
So are solenodons like not having very many babies?
Yeah, they have 1 to 2 babies at a time. Well, they have up to 3, but only 2 can survive because the female only has 2 nipples. And I just have to say, prefaces, this is one of the stranger things about solenodons, is the nipples. So buckle up, folks.
Really?
The nipples are located on the butt. Yes, they have...
Those don't go there.
It's like pin the tail on a donkey, except it's very messed up.
I can imagine someone like looking at solenodons nursing and being like, y'all have made a terrible mistake.
By all accounts, it doesn't make sense.
That is a bizarre place for that. Why are they like that?
Well, what scientists have noticed is that the females, like with the babies will hang on to the butt nipples for the first few months. And while the female walks around, the babies will just be, attached on one on each butt cheek, sort of. It's like a very odd marsupial.
Absolutely wild. Because we've talked about like koalas. They got the baby facing the butt so that the babies can kind of like get some bacteria from the mother's waste. You see that a little bit, but what a strange place for that. Like there are so many places your nipples could go on your body, and of all of the places you put them there near the place where you pee and poop. Like don't do that.
Oh, also they pee and poop simultaneously.
Now that's just efficient. I'm not going to make fun of them for that because that's efficiency.
Yeah, but is it worth it though?
They're probably saving so much time. I'm sure a lot of people wish that you could just get it all done in one trip. There you go. You don't have to keep going to the bathroom.
Yeah, but what if you really have to do like a number 2, but you don't have to do a number 1? So it's like, okay, let me just drink a few bottles of water really quickly. These
poor little guys have a lot of logistical challenges in the butt zone.
Yes.
There's a lot of obstacles there.
This is what I love about solenodons. You know how like when you learn something, the more you learn it, the more you understand it? Whatever the opposite of that is what occurs with solenodons. You ask one question, you get 15 more.
I feel like I now know less than I did when we started. I have less information. Before we hit record, you mentioned that you wish that you could like wipe your brain of everything you know about solenodons and learn it all over again.
Yes.
I'm excited that I get to go on this journey. It feels like when you play like a really good video game or you read a really good book and you're like, I wish I could forget about that.
So true. Also, I apologize for future Owen for having to explain to your boss why the phrase "where are solenodon nipples located" is in your search history. That one's on me.
It never occurs to me when I'm like researching a mammal. I never think I should check to see where their nipples are, because like you're like, I probably reasonably know where they're going to be. You don't think that that's something you have to check.
And then they just pull out the Uno reverse card like, aha, you didn't expect this now, did you?
You didn't expect to be next to my butt. Well, you got me there. That I didn't expect. I didn't think they would be. You look at this little guy, they're kind of unassuming. You don't think they're going to be hiding all of these secrets, like secret venom and echolocation and butt nipples. Like
This is why they're the greatest animal that no one knows about.
This is an unassuming little critter, which brings us to our final category that we rate animals on for this show, which is aesthetics. It's just how nice this animal is to look at. I could see someone going either way on this. I can see some pros, I can see some cons. Don't know where you're going to land on it. Owen, what do you give solenodons out of 10 for aesthetics?
I am a firm believer that beauty is on the inside.
Okay.
And these guys have all of the beauty on the inside, so they get a 10 out of 10 for that.
You know, I will say I've been kind of looking at pictures of solenodons the whole time, and at first I was put off, but they've grown on me. I think that there's something very, you know how like antique stuffed animals look very different from like modern stuffed animals?
Yeah.
When you look at like an antique, like a teddy bear from like 100 years ago, and they just look really, really weird compared to like today's teddy bears. But then you look at it for a while and you're like, there's some charm to that. That's how I feel about the solenodon.
Exactly. He's ancient but stylish.
There's something very, very familiar about the face, too, and I'm trying to remember. There must have been some sort of old cartoon that I must have watched as a kid that involved a mole that had a face like that. Let me see if I can find what I'm thinking about.
Did
You know what I mean?
Franklin? Yeah, did Franklin have a mole? Like that old cartoon?
You know what? Oh, I just figured it out. Hold on. It's Mr. Ratburn.
I
It's
don't
Mr.
think I've ever
Ratburn.
seen
That's
that one.
from the PBS show Arthur.
Oh, yes.
Okay, look up Arthur, Mr. Ratburn.
Okay.
The show Arthur, I know you're a good bit younger than me. Arthur may have been a little bit before your time. It was like every kid my age watched Arthur because it was on PBS. But Arthur's teacher, Mr. Ratburn, had the long pointy nose with a little slight upturn at the end of it. And he had tiny little beady eyes. That's it. It's Mr. Ratburn. That's who it is.
It's definitely Mr. I see the picture now. Yes, he's like a Solenodon without a jawline. I definitely see it.
So the Solenodon is Mr. Ratburn if he was mewing. That's stupid. I shouldn't have said that. That's dumb. So if you like Mr. Ratburn, if Mr. Ratburn has sort of a nostalgic appeal to you, you're going to love the Solenodon. Because I feel like a lot of people, to buy into the hype of an animal, they feel like they need to see it as cute. And this one could be a hard sell for a lot of people, but there's something there to work with.
Okay, scientists, whoever is listening, if any of you guys are working on Solenodons, buy a tiny tuxedo, fly to Hispaniola. You know what to do.
Give them the little glasses. That's all you need to do. Get them the little green suit that Mr. Ratburn wears, and there you go. We could change things. We could turn things around for the Solenodon.
We can make the world a better place.
What is the sort of conservation landscape looking for Solenodons? How are they doing right now?
Right now, they're doing pretty well, but they have a lot of trauma to dump on you. So let me paint a picture. These guys, being an island species, were like living their jolly good life, and then the settlers came in. They started burning down the forest, agriculture, deforestation. They introduced dogs, they introduced cats, mongooses for some reason.
Ooh!
Who brings a mongoose to an island?
Yes, mongooses on islands is a huge problem, specifically in like Hawaii. Big problem in Hawaii. Like mongooses, because I think that a lot of mongooses in, for example, India, mongooses are really well known for eating snakes. Like they'll fight snakes and eat them and everything. And so I think that a lot of Europeans would like go to places where there were native snakes and they would think, oh, I just need some mongooses to eat the snakes here. And they'd introduce mongooses. And then of course the mongooses get there and they're like, well, yeah, there's snakes, but there's also like way easier stuff for me to eat here. So they would eat everything else but the snakes. Mongooses, the scourge of like every island.
What eats a mongoose though? Wait 1 sec, I'm Googling this.
All you need to do is introduce a bunch of eagles to every island, and then you have a sort of little old lady who swallowed the snake situation.
Exactly. Okay, I found this one picture online of a jackal eating a mongoose, so introduce jackals to the Caribbean. Let's see how that goes down.
And then every time you just need to introduce something a little bigger.
Then you get the tigers. But yeah, Solenodons were endangered for a really long time. Thankfully, there was some protection done in the national parks, and in 2020, they were updated by the IUCN from endangered to of least concern. So,
wow, what a turnaround.
Good for them. They still face like some struggles with deforestation for agricultural purposes and like charcoal production. And there was one study that found dogs killed up to 71% of Solenodons, and I'm a hardcore dog person, so this like shook me to my core. I had to sit down and think about this for a while.
I know, we hate a problematic fave. Like, we don't like to hear it. But, I mean, there's some hard truths we gotta face.
Like, I'm just sitting down petting my dog. Is like, does my love of you triumph over my love of Solenodons?
Just keep the dogs inside.
Exactly.
But they're doing well now. I'm so glad to hear that. What a turnaround. That's a big win.
Yeah.
You mentioned they're like survivors, so clearly it's going to take a little bit more than that to take these dudes down.
Exactly. There's like, I'm just imagining 2 giant whiteboards, one for conservation losses recently. You have like Stellar Sea Cow, Tasmanian Tiger, and then there's just one line on the conservation win, and it's just the Solenodon.
Like, we're doing great, guys. Putting up dubs on the board.
Let's go.
Well, I mean, we've got some good news, but woo, the little guy, he's doing good. Owen, this has been a lot of fun. I have learned some really surprising things I really did not think I was going to learn today. Maybe some I regret learning about more than others, but that's okay. For people listening who, have had fun learning with you today and want to learn more about cool animals and conservation from you, let our friends listening know where they can find you and your work.
They can find me on YouTube and TikTok as The Land of Puppeteria. That's Puppet ARIA. I just released a giant video that I've been working on for the past 6 months, so check that out. It's called Reinventing the Wheel.
Don't spoil the whole thing because we want people to go look at it. But could you give us a little teaser?
Yes. The general plot is that the main puppets, Mr. Monster, Animal Boy, and Patricia, they're in a self-driving car. And because they're in a self-driving car, they cannot stop to get lemonade at a lemonade stand. And they're so distraught by this, they decide to go back in time and stop the wheel from being invented. Because if there was no wheels, no self-driving cars, and they could have gotten lemonade. That was the thought process that went through
Got
their
it,
brains.
got it. So we're going all the way to the root.
Yes.
We got to get to the real problem.
The entire video is about them trying to stop the wheel from being invented and trying to get back home at the same time.
Amazing. I am so excited. I am also going to include links to all of that stuff in the episode description. So anybody listening to this episode can just scroll down and click through to go find your YouTube and your TikTok. Owen, this has been an incredible amount of fun. I can't thank you enough for sharing your love and your passion and your energy for Solenodons with us. We will talk to you later. Bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you all so much for listening. I hope that the Solenodon is your new favorite animal. If you liked what you heard today, I hope you leave behind some kind words for us and a review on your podcast app of choice. If you want to hang out with us online, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Discord, TikTok. Links to everything will be in the episode description. You can send me an email at ellen@justthezooofus.com if you have a cool animal you'd like to hear us talk about on the show. We'd like to thank Maximum Fun for having us on their network alongside their other amazing shows like the ones that you heard promos for here today. You can go check those out, learn more about the network and how you can be a part of supporting our show over at MaximumFun.org. Finally, we would like to thank Louis Zong for our theme music. And that's all for today. We'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye.
MaximumFun.org.
Comedy and culture.
Artist owned. Audience supported.